Nikki Haley has said no matter what happens in New Hampshire, she plans to stay in the race. One of the next key contests is next month in her home state of South Carolina. Taurean Small joins me now from the Palmetto State. Taurean, what are you hearing from voters about their feelings about the former governor?
Yeah, so I've been here since the weekend, and I've been taking the temperature of voters out here in South Carolina. Quite a few of them are mixed on the former governor here. They say that, the folks who are backing Donald Trump are, in line with a lot of the opinions of voters from Iowa. They think that he's fighting for them. They believe that he's being unfairly prosecuted and persecuted. And they think that ultimately he has the best shot at beating Donald Trump or at beating Joe Biden in a general election matchup. They also touted his impressive win over the rest of the field in Iowa that ultimately led to quite a few of his primary rivals to drop out. When it comes to Nikki Haley, though, the folks who are interested in her the most are the never Trumpers or the folks who are willing to move on from Donald Trump, even though they voted for him in the past two elections.
So does it seem more that they are supporting her because they don't like Donald Trump? Where's the home state love? She was their governor.
I mean, I think that's a question that we should also ask the current U.S. Senators, Tim Scott, who also endorsed Donald Trump instead of Nikki Haley. Listen, a lot of people are looking at the polls and are reading the writing on the wall. I even talked to Republican leadership, the state party here, that say that, it's unlikely that this could be a long contest because they're looking at the margin of what happens in New Hampshire about whether or not you'll have a longer run in this race. But like you said, Nikki Haley said she's going to stick it through New Hampshire to South Carolina. She's also vying for Super Tuesday. She just invested about $4 million in TV spending here in South Carolina. She has her eyes set on a long run. Not too many folks, at least in the state Republican Party level here, believe that that might be the case.
And I believe Senator Tim Scott, who just endorsed Trump, was appointed to his Senate post by Nikki Haley when she was governor, which is colder than it is. That's cold. Colder than New Hampshire. Let me ask you as a final question, Taurean. Nikki Haley her campaign has mentioned that that voters can participate who are Democrats or independents, or not registered, I should say. What signal does that send from her campaign?
Yeah, John, it's certainly an interesting strategy. It's one that we've seen her adopt in Iowa and New Hampshire. In Iowa, we saw her make the pitch to independents, to Democrats, to participate in the caucuses and the Republican caucuses because it is legal technically. In New Hampshire, she's made that same pitch. She said, hey, participate, join our cause. And she's moved from this more hard right conservative voice to one that opens up a wider tent to more moderates. Here in South Carolina, I tried to take the pulse of voters out here if they're interested in that. I talked to a few Democrats actually about that pitch, about, participating in the open primary to vote for Haley. I talked to some voters in Iowa who said the reason why they would do that is to stop Trump. I tried to see if they're on the same page here. They're not interested. The Democrats that I talked to say that they're supporting Joe Biden. They're uninterested in any Republican at this point.
That's interesting. Thank you for that reporting, Taurean Small in South Carolina. Besides South Carolina, we're also looking ahead to Nevada, which holds its primary and caucuses, you heard me right, in about 2 weeks. Jessica Hill joins us now. She's a politics reporter with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. So Nevada, excuse me, I didn't mispronounce it. Nevada has a primary and a caucus. Why?
Yes. It is confusing. A lot of voters, especially Republican voters, are confused and frustrated about this. February 6th, we have a state-run primary. In 2021, Democratic legislators pushed to end caucuses and put in primaries. The Republican Party, however, did not like that, and they decided to hold a caucus regardless. So now we have two dueling nominating processes. However, because the Nevada Republican Party gets to choose which process holds the most weight, the primary is left to be more symbolic and just for a show. The only people that are really participating in it is Nikki Haley and then some other people who are kind of lower names. And then in the caucus, Donald Trump is really the only Republican of note that is participating in the caucus. Vivek Ramaswamy and DeSantis have since dropped out, so it's really just him.
So, Jessica, the delegates, as I understand, the delegates are going to be apportioned by the caucus, which Nikki Haley's not participating in. And so the primary ballot, which doesn't include Donald Trump, isn't really even a proper show, right? Because it's not a head-to-head with Haley and Trump.
Correct. Yes. We think maybe Nikki Haley could use the primary to show, like, look at the public support that I have. However, it won't really mean anything, and she won't be able to receive any delegates here in Nevada.
Yes, she's turned it into a one-person race, but that's not very useful in the end. Okay, so if the voting doesn't matter much, what are folks talking about in Nevada that they actually care about in terms of either the Republican race or just in general and that you hear about in your reporting?
Yeah, so a big thing that I'm hearing about right now, just leading up to the primary and the caucus, is the confusion. And a lot of Republicans are saying this is a disaster that the Republican Party is facing. Republicans are also worried of what this could mean for turnout in November. The Nevada Republican Party, who is run by some of the fake electors that submitted fake electoral certificates for Donald Trump, have been touting some false claims of election security issues and claiming that their caucus will be more secure, and therefore you shouldn't participate in the elections. And some other Republicans fear that that could not bode well for November and electing Republicans up and down the ballot. Besides elections, another big issue here is abortion. You know, here in Nevada, it's protected in state law. However, some people fear that electing someone on a national level could outdo or overdo those laws by passing any national restrictions. So Democrats remain really focused on hitting the abortion issue because that's proved to be successful for them in the past. And then another big issue is education. Nevada has one of the lowest ranked education systems, and we're constantly looking for ways to improve that.
Nevada will be a battleground state. And so, Jessica Hill, we thank you now, and we're going to be talking to you again, I'm sure. Thanks again.